unknown. The video depicts an investigation by the Museo del Horror. They travel to an abandoned hospital, reputedly haunted based on several reports. The team streamed their adventure live on YouTube, claiming that no one else should have had access to the place that night. As they began their session, the night began with intriguing noises in the distance.
Era para gente de mucho dinero. Era para... Uy.
¿Quién es?
¿Es en serio?
¿Puedes hablar? Fue un lamento. Alguien se quejó.
Mario Ramírez, muchas gracias.
They could hear the moaning of a woman, adding to the creepy atmosphere. These strange noises echoed through different hallways, and as they continued their exploration, they encountered several more unexplained noises.
Escucharon un grito. Porque siento que nos están perdiendo.
As they proceeded further into the building, their camera captured something truly bizarre on the left side. It seemed as if a piece of cloth was being pulled towards the left side, leading some to believe it was an apparition stuck in the hospital. If not, what other explanation could there be? Perhaps it was just a regular piece of cloth that had been jammed there and was released by a breeze or some other force. Throughout the night, they encountered many more strange sightings and occurrences, making it worth checking out the entire investigation yourself. Ghostly silhouette. Banyo Paranormal embarked on an exploration of an abandoned bunker nestled in the depths of a nearby forest. This location, with its heightened eeriness, stood out even among other unsettling sights he had explored. Despite 2 prior visits filled with odd sounds echoing from deserted rooms, he had yet to uncover concrete evidence of any supernatural occurrences. While wandering through the silent, resonant halls, a growing sense of disquiet washed over him.
Like, you know, we just can't explain it by anything. By anything. But no. Okay, that I saw it moving and I just completely. Okay, so yeah,
Just as Banyo Paranormal decided to exit the bunker, his camera inadvertently captured an anomaly at the corridor's end, seemingly unnoticed by him at the moment.
There. I have to go for my stuff, so.
The footage shows a vague, dark shape looming into view, which is intriguing given the bunker's supposed emptiness. Banyo had thoroughly examined the site, leading him to believe he was alone. Could there have been an unnoticed intruder, or is the indistinct form something unexplained? The details of this shadowy figure are obscure. This incident marks Banyo Paranormal's first recording of such an event in this location, igniting speculation about its paranormal nature. Future updates from his investigations are eagerly awaited for more insights. The Cursed Doll. In this video, Jay is relaxing in his living room when his attention is drawn to an unusual doll perched on a high shelf. Upon closer inspection, he becomes increasingly unnerved by his discovery. Jay recounts that he acquired the doll from a thrift store where it was curiously hidden away, while other similar dolls were on display. This concealment raised suspicions about the doll, perhaps due to beliefs that it was cursed or haunted. Having had the doll in his home for over a year, Jay's conviction grows that there's something extraordinary about it. A chilling moment is caught on camera as he spends time in the living room with his child, reinforcing his suspicions that the doll might be possessed or cursed. The footage leaves viewers anxious and curious about what Jay recorded and the true nature of the doll.
I think I can see it on here. Hold on. Now it's stopped. Oh, wait, there it is. See if she moves. There it is.
The footage takes a turn reminiscent of a horror film when the doll eerily begins to tilt its head towards the camera, seemingly aware it's being recorded. Jay watches in horror and disbelief as the doll moves independently. Though frightened, he feels a sense of validation, having long attempted to document this phenomenon. This sinister movement convinces many viewers of the doll's haunting. Whether this is a manifestation of the paranormal or there is a logical explanation remains a subject of debate. To this day, the mystery behind the doll's movement continues to puzzle and intrigue, leaving the question unresolved. Hallway Hauntings. On March 11, 2023, a video from an undisclosed hotel hallway shows a lone woman walking into the desolately quiet corridor. The camera captures something unusual, though the exact details aren't specified. Found online without a known origin, the footage is disconcerting, prompting viewers to ponder the spooky incident that occurred in that hallway. The video reveals a sequence of bizarre happenings in the hotel corridor. A plant inexplicably topples over as if pushed by an invisible hand, and the woman's hair is abruptly swept forward, as if by a mysterious gust of wind. These events visibly alarm the woman. Before these incidents, some viewers point out another odd occurrence. As the woman steps into the hallway and just before the plant falls, a faint, unidentifiable shadow briefly emerges and then vanishes. This shadow doesn't appear to be cast by the woman and disappears while she is still in view. The enigmatic shadow, followed by the other peculiar events, fuels speculation among viewers that perhaps a supernatural presence or force is at play. Nonetheless, like many videos of its kind, this one remains an enigma, open to diverse interpretations and conjectures. Thanks for watching our spine-tingling ghost encounters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more eerie, ghostly videos. Stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled. You never know what might be caught on camera next. Phantom Portal. During an investigation at North Country Brewing Pub in Slippery Rock, PA, known for its ghostly tales, Iron City Paranormal captured an intriguing video. They had set up motion-activated trail cameras around the old pub, each programmed to record for 11 seconds when motion is detected. The clip they shared seemingly shows a door opening on its own in the background. The investigating team assures that none of their members were responsible for the door's movement. However, it's important to keep an open mind and not jump to supernatural conclusions immediately. This occurrence certainly adds to the mystery of the place. IGA Fright. In a video that's gaining attention, Brandon Costa shares his unsettling experience right outside his bedroom. Disturbed by strange noises, Brandon grabbed his phone to record what was happening. The footage he captured left him deeply troubled. He connects this eerie incident to his recent use of a Ouija board, suspecting it has paranormal roots. The whole experience has left Brandon feeling very shaken.
¡Ay, cabrón! No manches. ¿Qué era eso? No. Ay, no manches.
A particularly chilling moment is captured. A face suddenly appears, looking in at Brandon before disappearing. Adding to the eeriness is his bedroom door closing on its own. This strange event, following Brandon's interaction with the Ouija board, may not be entirely unexpected to some viewers, but it certainly makes for a spine-tingling encounter. Crib haunting. This video, while short on specifics, is quite revealing. It captures a moment where a child is sound asleep in their crib, only for a strange event to occur. Interestingly, this happens at 3:33 am, a time often thought to be significant, with differing views on its implications. We see the child abruptly wake up, stand up quickly, and stare intently at something unseen in the darkness. Then, unexpectedly, either a toy or a music box begins to play by itself. Adding to the intrigue, the crib starts shaking without any visible cause. The video ends without offering any explanation, and its origin is unknown. This leaves viewers to ponder and decide for themselves what might have happened that night. Creepy Campfire. In this video, a content creator is next to a campfire at his campsite in Fairy Lake, Quebec, at a late hour not specified. Curious about sounds in the distance, he sets out to investigate, walking through the dark forest with just his flashlight for light.
Let's see how this place looks like without any lights. Pitch black. Imagine being out here. This is one of the creepiest forests I've ever been. And I'll be spending the night here. I'm not sure if you guys ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but damn, this is just giving me Blair Witch Project vibes.
Soon after, he comments on the resemblance of the scene to the Blair Witch Project. And then something unexpected happens.
Oh, fuck. Oh, hi. What the hell? I need to get out of here.
A piercing voice comes from the shadows of the woods, repeatedly saying, "I see you, I see you." The voice sounds like it could be a child. The person filming considers the possibility of it being another camper, but he remarks that he has never seen anyone else in these woods on his previous visits. He also points out how strange and unnerving it would be for another camper to shout out like that in the woods, given the fear it could cause. In the end, the man gets back to his campsite safely, not hearing the mysterious voice again. Snowy Suspicion. A recent episode on the YouTube channel, Asleep 5 Decades, highlights yet another unexpected event during car camping. In this episode, Lisa, who camps in her van nicknamed the Dream Machine, experiences a startling encounter. Around 4:30 a.m., while deeply asleep, she is suddenly awakened by a series of knocks on her van, specifically near where her head is. The knocking pattern is distinctive, 3 separate sets, each consisting of 3 knocks. Upon hearing the 3rd series of knocks, Lisa quickly grabs her phone to record what's happening.
Somebody's back here again. I hear footprints. Hello? How can I help you? It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. Who are you?
The person outside the van is heard saying, "I have a question for you." The notion of someone approaching a woman's van in the early hours of the morning, knowing she's inside, and saying this is quite alarming. Lisa cautiously looks out from her van and spots a car with its headlights on, parked a distance down the road. This car likely belongs to the person knocking.
So I quietly got up and I went to the front and I peeked out and parked way up on the drive. All I could see is like headlights, and then they backed out and went and left.
The video shows the uncertainty of whether anyone else is in the car. The next morning, Lisa finds large boot prints in the snow right outside her van. It appears the person may have tried to open her van but found it locked. Fortunately, Lisa had secured her doors. After such an incident, it's generally wise for anyone in a similar situation to get in the driver's seat and move to a different location. Thankfully, in Lisa's case, the situation did not escalate further. The child's plea. While exploring the notorious Hotel Posada del Sol, famed for its eerie ambience, YouTuber Crisil Luna and her companion venture into what she dubs the zone of universal fear. As they navigate a bend in the path, they stumble upon an unsettling scene, a makeshift memorial adorned with a chilling doll.
Estoy haciendo una exploración. Ahí está el altar. Ven la luz, por favor, una luz. Acércate, acércate, acércate. Vean. Este es el altar. Dios mío, ¿quién puede dejar estas cosas?
Drawn by curiosity, they moved closer to the memorial, scrutinizing it carefully. It appeared to honor a young girl who had tragically passed away in that exact location. As they delved deeper, this melancholic revelation gradually unraveled.
Dulces en honor a la niña que dicen que se perdió aquí.
As they proceeded with their exploration, Chris L. sensed a presence approaching.
Además la encontraron. Ay, atrás, atrás. Aunque se cayó del techo. Cayó del techo, Chris.
The dimly lit hallways seemed to intensify the air of mystery.
Escucha. Escucha. ¿Quién está ahí? Ay, no, vámonos, vámonos, vámonos.
In the midst of the spooky ambience, a mysterious noise broke the quiet, causing them to shudder. Despite this, Chris L. continued forward, soon confronted by another enigmatic
De
sound.
verdad me siento perdida. Escucha, 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 escucha. Por acá, por acá, por acá. Por acá, por acá. Vamos a ver qué. Está escuchando, está escuchando. Ay, 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 ¿dónde estás?
This time, it was the sound of a child's voice, soft yet clear, uttering a plea. Please.
Ay, ¿dónde? ¡Ah! ¡Lo viste, lo viste, lo viste!
Did you hear that? A child's voice echoing in the shadows. Shortly afterward, Chris L. glimpsed a small figure, affirming the existence of a supernatural presence.
Ay, Dios. Dios mío.
Attempts to communicate, however, were met with evident frustration from the entity.
Escucha. Ay, no mames, no mames, no mames, no mames, no mames. Ay, no mames, no mames, no mames, no mames. ¿Quién es?
Subsequently, a distinct voice surfaced, clearly different from that of the child. Despite the eerie experiences, it became apparent that the spirit of the young girl appeared to be confined to that location. Let's hope it's not coexisting with something more sinister. Thanks for joining our paranormal journey. If you've enjoyed, like, share, and subscribe for more ghostly mysteries. Hit the bell to stay updated. Stay curious and courageous as we delve into the unexplained. What will we uncover next? Of the 1863 battle. Aiming to capture evidence of ghostly activities, Ballinger strategically placed his camera at several spots around Gettysburg. One significant location was about a mile from the triangular field near Wheatfield Road, where he set his camera on a dirt trail. The footage he recorded was startlingly unnerving. a number of ghostly figures appear, moving smoothly from right to left across the path. These apparitions, distinctively clad in Civil War attire, become clearer on closer inspection. Viewers have speculated that these images might represent a residual haunting, a concept where energy from a past event is seemingly etched into the surroundings, almost like a historical playback. Residual hauntings are often associated with locations that have witnessed intense emotional or traumatic events. What are your views on this subject? Feel free to discuss in the comments section. The Unseen Visitor. Let's explore the eerie experiences of Marvin Caguas, as shared on his channel. Marvin mentions that his house has been a hotspot for paranormal occurrences, but it wasn't until recently that he felt the urge to document these events. In a recent video, he narrates an incident where a toy belonging to his niece mysteriously activates on its own, compelling him to grab his camera and investigate downstairs. Let's check out the footage.
Alvin. Funny anymore, man. Fuck, dude.
We see the toy inexplicably spring to life, as if triggered by an unseen presence. This prompts Marvin to conduct a thorough search of his home.
Alvin.
The house seems tranquil. However, pay attention as Marvin re-enters the dining room. He discovers the chandelier swinging by itself, with no one around to have caused it. Alarmed, he swiftly leaves the room, and the video abruptly ends there. In a subsequent video, the mysterious occurrences in Marvin's home escalate. He explains, "I was using the night vision feature on the Xbox One, and on reviewing the footage, I noticed a figure that looks like it's enveloped in mist in the upper right corner of the screen. I hadn't seen it while recording."
Right now, it's completely dark in this house right now. All you can basically see is my Xbox One controller. Now I'm gonna switch on the night vision for you guys. As you can see, it lights up the whole room. It's actually a pretty cool feature. I don't know if they have an app for this or whatnot, but they also have this version of the camera. I don't know what it is. I think it's either infrared or something like that. And then back to dark. As you can see, all you can see is my Xbox controller. And then back to night vision. It's actually...
A peculiar shadowy figure is visible in the top right corner of the living room, ascending towards the ceiling. This shadow doesn't align with Marvin's movements, making its origin baffling. Marvin and his family are convinced that this shadowy figure is the entity moving objects around in their house. Do you believe this could be an authentic haunting? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Chilling frame. This fascinating video surfaced online in March 2019, and while specific details are limited, the content of the footage is enthralling. It captures a moment during a video call between two individuals, where one of them notices something deeply frightening.
I'm video recording him. Wait, I just seen something. Good. Really?
It may initially be challenging to spot, but upon closer inspection and slowing down the footage, an ominous detail emerges. There appears to be a figure dressed in a hooded sweatshirt, standing alarmingly close to him. Remarkably, As the camera angle shifts upwards, this figure disappears in seconds, leaving no sign of her presence. Whether this is an encounter with a supernatural entity or just a spine-chilling brush with an enigmatic person, it certainly sends shivers down the spine. Eerie Exploration. Rochelle G. shared a chilling video from her visit to an abandoned house known for its sorrowful past. The house was previously owned by the Evinrudes, a couple whose lives were abruptly ended by a home invasion. Initially, the family kept the house unsold in memory of the couple, but later rented it out. Tenants, however, reported unnerving experiences like sudden temperature drops and shadowy figures peering through windows, eventually driving them away. The house has been deserted ever since, up until Rochelle's daring exploration. Hoping to capture the rumored paranormal activity, she inadvertently records a disturbing sight on her camera. During her exploration, Rochelle unknowingly captures a very creepy occurrence. It's easy to miss, so viewers should watch closely. A brief but alarming moment is caught as Rochelle turns her camera toward the door. A shadowy outline, similar to a hand, quickly appears and then disappears behind the doorway. Despite her search, Rochelle discovers nothing unusual in the vicinity. This spooky incident took place in the exact spot where Mrs. Evinrude's body was discovered. There's speculation about whether this was an apparition of Mrs. Evinrude or perhaps a squatter secretly observing Rochelle. The mystery deepens because the space has no apparent exit. Understandably frightened by this experience, Rochelle has resolved not to revisit the abandoned property. The Unexplained Appearance. A viewer shared a video that captured an unusual incident in front of their house at night. Their home security camera, specifically a Ring camera, recorded an odd object that seemed to suddenly appear from nowhere and then vanished just as inexplicably. The video is intriguing, showing a moment where the camera malfunctions, freezing on a single image for almost an hour. With no other discernible objects near the street pole, this has led to speculations of a paranormal event. Although it might be easy to write off as a camera glitch or something explainable, the actual essence of that night's event remains a mystery. The Hidden Face. Ryan shared a video by a mother who frequently records herself and her daughter engaging in playful activities and rituals in their apartment. Despite not taking these rituals seriously, there's an unnerving twist to their videos as their apartment appears to be haunted. In one particular video, while the daughter was recording her mother performing a ritual, they captured something disturbing without initially realizing it. Several viewers have noticed what seems like a sinister face lurking in a dark closet in the background. This has sparked debate over whether the video captures a real paranormal occurrence or if it's simply a clever setup. Although there's always a chance that the video might have been staged, its unsettling quality also opens up the possibility of a paranormal explanation. What's your take on this? Did that ghostly sighting give you chills? If so, hit like, share with your bravest friends, and subscribe for more ghostly encounters. Stay tuned for our next adventure into the unknown, where we'll keep seeking out the spookiest sightings caught on camera. Experiences with different shadow entities. He has encountered flickering lights, doors mysteriously opening and closing, and even captured the glowing eyes of an unidentified entity while being alone at home. In one particularly chilling instance, he succeeded in capturing both entities in the same video. Here's the footage he recorded.
Hey everyone, so here's a little bit more layout of the house. This is the room where primarily everything's been happening.
Upon stepping into the room, an unusual wheezing sound becomes perceptible. Viewers speculate that the sound emanated from the shadowy figure in the corner. Shortly after he notices the entity, the door autonomously swings open. He swiftly pans back to the left, only to find the shadowy figure has disappeared. In response to this encounter, he installs multiple stationary cameras around the house for further investigation. Several nights later, while he sleeps, the bedroom camera captures the following. As he sleeps, the camera captures a shadowy figure appearing to materialize from the ceiling. If this wasn't unsettling enough to give him nightmares, what he captured on his hallway camera certainly added to his unease. During the 2-hour duration, the video unmistakably captures the appearance of a female figure with dark hair materializing on the distant wall. Is his residence truly haunted, or is this merely a prank for TikTok? It's up to you to decide. Night terrors. In the early 2000s, a video was made by a group of young men who claimed to have moved into a haunted apartment building. They reported eerie noises during the night and movements of boxes in the attic above their room. They also heard a woman's cries, leaving them so scared they needed a nightlight to sleep. When the disturbances recurred, they decided to record the events. One of the men left his camcorder in the attic, hoping to record the mysterious occurrences. The footage shows numerous objects being hurled to the floor. When the man returned to get his camera, he felt the attic door mysteriously close behind him. The video captures a frightening scene at the attic's end, prompting him to quickly reopen the stairs and flee. The camera appears to have again recorded a chilling face. This raises the question, could this be the ghost tied to the apartment? The man wondered if past rituals in the apartment might be behind the strange activities and his terrifying experience. It was, without a doubt, a terrifying experience. Haunting at home. On February 10, 2023, a Reddit post caught attention, shared by a mother of a 2-year-old boy. She often stays awake at night due to her son's restless sleep. Each time her son stirs, she receives an alert from their security camera. After calming him and putting him back to bed, she has a routine of reviewing the camera footage to see what might have woken him. One night, she was stunned by what she saw in the video. Watch this segment and judge for yourself. If you look carefully, you'll see something unusual. The child's ear begins to move as if it's being pulled by unseen hands, a detail the camera did not initially make clear. The child glances around in confusion, searching for someone or something behind him, but the room appears empty. Is this an instance of the supernatural? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments. Unseen Pursuer. The unfortunate voyage began with a group navigating a dark, dirt road at night, a choice that soon became regrettable. A widely viewed online video shows a group of friends driving through a forest when they suddenly encounter a mysterious presence.
क्या है यहाँ पे? भाई? भाई? ओए ओए भाई? वो आ गया। अरे यार, वो भाई, इसलिए मैंने आपको मना किया था इस रास्ते से रहने दो। आज भाई हम दो भाई हैं।
In the video, a figure clad in black is seen walking in an odd manner, raising questions about its nature and causing a tense, unnerving mood among the group.
भाई, इसको टांगे देखो, टांगे। हमें रास्ता दो, हम आपको परेशान नहीं कर रहे। यही आपको बोल रहा था। भाई यार, कसम से बता रहा हूँ यार, मैं आपको। ओए, ये क्या कर रही है? ये क्या कर रही है? अपनी तरफ आएगी वो।
The figure momentarily stops, chilling the car's occupants to the bone. The tension escalates rapidly, and their apprehension is about to be confirmed.
अपनी साइड आ रही है। ओ भाई पीछे खा। नहर में गाड़ी चल खाई में चल जा भाई। अरे भाई यार।
In the subsequent scenes, as the figure suddenly moves towards them at a startling speed, the petrified group is left with no option but to hurriedly reverse into the enveloping darkness. Paranormal Puzzle. Is it possible that a spooky event from the past, still echoing in your mind, might be related to the supernatural story shared by a Redditor, describes an odd occurrence caught on a security camera, a puzzle that remains unsolved even now? Viewers should be aware that in this recording, the audio and visual elements are out of sync. It shows a tray falling to the floor, but interestingly, the sound happens after the tray is seen falling. This mismatch adds a sense of unease to the footage. Adding to the intrigue, some viewers, after examining the comments, suggest that the behavior of a dog, seen in its cage near a high chair, might indicate a paranormal event. The story focuses on the dog's startled reaction and the suddenness of the crash, fostering a sense of real fear and uncertainty. Interestingly, those in the comments who believe in the supernatural are inclined to interpret the dog's behavior as an indication of something otherworldly occurring. This narrative leaves viewers pondering the enigmatic connection between the unexplained incident and the dog's alarmed reaction. Thanks for joining us on this eerie journey. If you were thrilled by these ghostly encounters, hit like, share, and subscribe for more. Stay brave, keep watching, and remember, the next chilling discovery could be just a click away. Take an unexpected turn. This video is a classic example of such an occurrence. Stuffed toy mysteriously moves on its own, yet initially, none of the participants seem to notice. However, later in the footage, someone finally spots the movement. While the authenticity of such events is often debated, viewers generally agree that it's safer to avoid Ouija boards, as most recordings typically show unintended consequences. But, as always, opinions vary. What are your thoughts on this? The Cursed Mansion. In the cover of night, a solitary man ventures into a forsaken house. He navigates the space with deliberate caution, aware of the building's peculiar past. The local district, citing safety concerns, has forbidden entry to this place, and for valid reasons. The house, known for its unsettling aura, was once the residence of an elderly man who lived out his final years in solitude. What's remarkable is that he was the sole occupant of this expansive property, filled with enigmatic artifacts and numerous rooms. However, the most bizarre aspects emerged posthumously. Neighbors have reported seeing shadow-like figures loitering near the second-floor windows and hearing the eerie sound of children's laughter at night. With these ominous accounts in mind, the man proceeds with heightened vigilance, half expecting to encounter something unexplainable. As he explores, a startling event soon unfolds. Suddenly, a small golden statue topples over, catching the man off guard. He stops to ponder the cause of this unexpected event, scanning the surroundings for any possible explanation. Yet nothing seems amiss. It's unnerving how the statue fell seemingly by itself. The eeriness escalates when he decides to further explore the house, venturing upstairs. To capture a broader perspective, he sets up a second camera to record the entire upper floor. It's during this setup that something even more startling is captured. In a brief sequence of frames, a diminutive silhouette appears against the wall. The man only noticed this peculiar sighting after reviewing the footage. Had he seen it during his initial exploration, it's widely believed by viewers that he would have swiftly exited the premises. This shadowy figure, whatever it might be, clearly unnerved him upon later viewing. However, it's the subsequent discovery that compels him to immediately leave the house. While exploring the second floor, he encounters several rooms that are inexplicably locked, adding to the house's mysterious and unsettling atmosphere. Here's what he captured during this tense moment. If the self-opening door wasn't eerie enough, what follows intensifies the creepiness. As the man enters, the door slams shut behind him, as if forcefully closed by an unseen entity. Panicking, he rushes to the door, only to find it locked. Then, inexplicably, it unlocks, prompting him to flee immediately. In his haste, he fails to capture the rest of the incident, as the camera stops recording. However, just before the recording ends, something truly spine-chilling is captured. As the camera briefly pans to the room he had just escaped from, a dark figure is visible inside. It seems to stand there, silently watching the man's hurried departure. The realization that this presence was likely in the room with him leaves him deeply disturbed. Little is known about what transpired afterwards, but one thing seems certain. The man is unlikely to revisit that place anytime soon. Mysterious movements. In the realm of supernatural occurrences, tales involving dolls stand out for their eerie nature. A striking instance of this is showcased in a recent upload by Zombie66 on YouTube. Initially, the video was meant to be a simple demonstration of cup stacking. However, it inadvertently captured something far more bizarre and unexplainable. Concerned by this unexpected twist, the uploader has since relocated the doll to a distant barn. Those watching the video are encouraged to observe the background minutely, as it holds subtle yet spine-chilling elements that contribute to the video's overall eerie atmosphere. In a video originally meant to display impressive cup stacking, an unexpected and frightening twist occurs. The camera, quite by chance, captures a doll moving by itself, a detail that went unnoticed during the filming. It was only upon reviewing the footage that this unnerving event was discovered, leaving a lasting impression of disturbance on those who witnessed it. This video stands out on the channel as a unique instance of supposed supernatural activity, which could suggest authenticity. If the intent were to fabricate such phenomena for increased viewership, one would expect a series of similar videos, which isn't the case here. What's your perspective on this eerie occurrence? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Unexplained Presence. At around 1:00 a.m., a truck driver found himself on a seldom traveled road. This route has a notorious reputation for being perilous, with a history of numerous accidents, some of which were sadly fatal. These frequent mishaps have led to a belief that the road is somehow cursed, sparking debates about its closure. However, like the driver in this incident, many don't have the luxury of choosing an alternative path and must traverse this ominous road. On the night of August 18, 2023, Gaston Rodriguez and his fellow driver were navigating this very road. To alleviate the eerie atmosphere, they were listening to upbeat music. It was during this time that they unexpectedly recorded something quite unsettling. As the truck ventured down the road, a fleeting figure was captured on camera, darting across the dirt path before abruptly vanishing. Initially, neither driver noticed this enigmatic presence during their journey. However, upon reviewing the footage later, they found themselves deeply unnerved by what they saw. The figure emerged seemingly from nowhere and disappeared just as mysteriously, adding to the intrigue of the moment. Given the road's notorious history, marked by fatal accidents, some speculate that the figure might be the lingering spirit of a past victim. The nature of this apparition, ghostly or otherwise, remains a mystery. The footage, intriguing in its own right, raises questions about the figure's sudden disappearance. As with many such videos, a concrete explanation for what was caught on camera remains elusive. I gotta tell you about something that happened to me recently. It's got me all freaked out, and I need to get it off my chest. So, here goes nothing. I live in this old farmhouse out in the countryside, surrounded by fields and forests. It's peaceful most of the time, but lately things have been feeling kinda off. It all started a few weeks ago when I started hearing strange noises coming from the attic. At first, I thought it was just the house settling or maybe some animals getting in. But the noises were different, like whispers, just barely audible, echoing through the rafters. I tried to ignore it, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to follow me everywhere, haunting me day and night. I started to feel like I was losing my mind, like the walls were closing in around me. And then came the dreams, vivid, unsettling dreams that left me feeling drained and disoriented. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding in my chest, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Things only got worse from there. Objects started moving on their own, doors slamming shut when there was no one else around. I'd catch glimpses of shadows out of the corner of my eye, fleeting and indistinct, but unmistakably there. I tried to tell myself it was just my imagination, that I was letting my fears get the best of me. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. There was a presence in the house, something dark and malevolent, and it was growing stronger by the day. I knew I had to do something, but I didn't know where to start. I tried researching online, looking for answers, but everything I found just made me more confused and scared. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, I found it. An old diary hidden away in a forgotten corner of the attic. The pages were yellowed with age, the ink faded and barely legible, but as I read through them, a chill ran down my spine. The diary belonged to the original owner of the farmhouse, a woman named Sarah who had lived here over 100 years ago. She wrote about strange occurrences in the house, whispers in the night, shadows lurking in the darkness. She spoke of a presence, something ancient and malevolent, that had driven her to the brink of madness. As I read her words, I realized that whatever was haunting this house had been here for a long time, longer than I could even imagine. And now it was coming for me. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I'm scared, more scared than I've ever been in my life. But I can't just sit back and let this thing consume me. I have to find a way to stop it before it's too late. As the first rays of dawn crept through the curtains, I finally mustered the courage to peel myself out of bed. Every creak of the floorboards felt like an ominous warning, as if the slightest noise would summon that shadowy presence back into my room. I stumbled into the kitchen, the events of the night still fresh in my mind. The scratching, the figure, it all replayed in my head like a nightmare on a loop. I poured myself a cup of coffee, hoping the warmth would chase away the chill that still lingered in my bones. As I sat at the kitchen table, trying to make sense of what had happened, my mind raced with possibilities. Was it a ghost? A figment of my imagination? Or something far more sinister lurking in the darkness? I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that every shadow held a hidden threat. The once familiar comfort of my home now felt like a prison, trapping me with unseen terrors. I needed answers, closure, anything to put my mind at ease. With trembling hands, I reached for my phone and began to search the internet for any clue that could explain what had happened to me. Hours passed as I delved deeper into the realm of the supernatural, poring over forums and articles in search of similar experiences. But the more I read, the more my unease grew. Tales of malevolent spirits and demonic entities danced across the screen, each one more chilling than the last. I tried to push the fear aside, to convince myself that there had to be a rational explanation for what I had witnessed. But deep down, a nagging doubt lingered, whispering that I was not alone in my home. As night fell once again, I found myself dreading the inevitable descent into darkness. Every creak of the floorboards sent shivers down my spine. Every flicker of movement out of the corner of my eye filled me with dread. I barricaded myself in my room, the faint glow of my phone, the only source of comfort in the oppressive darkness. But even that small beacon of light offered little solace against the encroaching shadows. Time seemed to lose all meaning as I sat there, trapped in my own personal purgatory. The minutes stretched into hours, each one dragging me further into the depths of despair. And then, just when I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, I heard it, the scratching. Faint at first, like a whisper on the wind, but steadily growing louder with each passing moment. I held my breath, my heart pounding in my chest as I awaited the inevitable. The figure emerged from the darkness, its form twisted and contorted in ways that defied description. I wanted to scream, to flee, but my body refused to obey. I was paralyzed, trapped in a waking nightmare with no means of escape. The figure drew closer, its eyes burning with a malevolent intensity that sent terror coursing through my veins. I could feel its presence looming over me, a suffocating weight pressing down on my chest. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, leaving me alone in the darkness once more. I lay there for what felt like an eternity, too afraid to move, too afraid to even blink. But as the first light of dawn crept through the curtains, I knew that my ordeal was far from over. For something had awakened within me, a primal instinct that screamed of danger lurking just beyond the edge of perception. And as I stared into the abyss, I knew that whatever had visited me that night was only the beginning of a far greater horror yet to come. But for now, all I could do was wait, trapped in a nightmare from which there was no waking. I've been wanting to share something that's been weighing on my mind lately. It's about this old house I used to live in, and some seriously spooky stuff that went down there. Buckle up, 'cause this one's a wild ride. So, a couple of years back, I moved into this charming little cottage out in the countryside. It was picturesque, with ivy climbing up the walls and a big old oak tree in the yard. Perfect, right? Well, not exactly. From the moment I stepped foot inside, I could sense there was something off about the place. It was like the air was heavy with, I dunno, sadness. Yeah, sadness is the word, but I brushed it off as me being paranoid, no. Anyway, things started getting weird pretty quick. At first, it was just little things, like objects moving on their own or strange shadows darting across the walls. Easy to ignore, right? But then the noises started. Late at night, when I was all alone, I hear these whispers echoing through the halls. It was like someone, or something, was trying to communicate with me. Freaky, right? But it gets worse. I started having these dreams, or maybe they were more like nightmares. I'd see flashes of people I didn't recognize, trapped in the walls of the house. Their faces were twisted in agony, like they were screaming for help. And then I'd wake up, drenched in sweat, my heart pounding like a jackhammer. I tried telling myself it was just my imagination running wild, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. There was a darkness in that house, a darkness that seemed to seep into every crack and crevice. I started doing some digging, trying to uncover the history of the place. Turns out, the cottage had a pretty grim past, something about a family who lived there years ago and disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Spooky, huh? Armed with this newfound knowledge, I decided to confront whatever was haunting the house. I gathered up some candles, a Ouija board, all the essentials, and prepared to face my fears head-on. That night, as the clock struck midnight, I lit the candles and set up the Ouija board in the living room. I called out to the spirits, daring them to show themselves. And boy, did they deliver. The air grew icy cold, and the candles flickered as if caught in a breeze. And then, out of the darkness, they came, the shadows of the past, reaching out to me from the other side. I could feel their pain, their anguish, as if it were my own. But instead of being afraid, I felt, liberated. Like I'd finally confronted the demons that had been tormenting me for so long. And as quickly as they had appeared, the shadows faded away, leaving me alone in the darkness. From that day on, the whispers stopped, the shadows disappeared, and the nightmares, well, they became a thing of the past. I don't know what happened that night, or if I'll ever fully understand it. But one thing's for sure, I'll never forget the haunting memories of that old cottage. I was 16 and my parents were out of town for the night. As any teen given such an opportunity, I decided to have a little party and movie night with a few friends. I remember a strange soft clicking over the landline when I was calling my friends, but I soon forgot about it while hunting for snacks. Just as I was dumping a bag of chips in a bowl, the phone rang again. "Dude, just bring the goriest one," I said as soon as I picked up the phone, thinking it was my indecisive friend bringing the DVD. "Hi, I'm calling from Felix Insurance. May I speak to an adult?" A male voice said. "I'm an adult, and I don't want any." I awkwardly lied and ended the call. This time, the clicking sound was also missing. Either way, my friends arrived, and it was all good. During the intermission of the horror movie, I went to get more popcorn but found the big window in the downstairs bedroom was wide open. Clicking my tongue, I closed it, nearly sneezing from the sharp chemical smell from outside. Closing the window didn't really help, so I left the door open and went on my way. By midnight, my friends left and I got to cleaning up since my parents were to arrive early in the morning. At least it was the weekend so I could sleep in. I looked around when that same chemical smell irritated my nose. I leaned closer to the kitchen window that was open a crack, but the night air was cool and fresh. Was the smell coming from inside the house? I worriedly headed for the spare bedroom, hoping it wasn't some dumb prank my friends did during one of their bathroom breaks. There was no smell in that bedroom anymore. I stood confused when the sound of boots passing right outside the room made me whirl around. I dashed outside to check, but of course there was no one. The horror movie was probably messing with my mind already. Back in the kitchen, I was drying up the big plastic bowl when I felt that I wasn't alone. Nervously, I looked up at the window and caught the reflection of a big, strong figure quietly approaching me from behind. The chemical smell was very sharp now, and it dawned on me that it was emitting from the intruder. I'm not sure where I got the courage, but I slammed the bowl right in the intruder's face and dashed for it. He tried to grab me, but I dodged, hitting my shin in the dining table as I ran out the house. The neighbors called the cops for me, but the perpetrator was gone. It was also revealed that our phone line was being tapped. A chemical factory worker who was wanted for robbing homes in the area was later caught, but to this day, I still triple-check all locks and windows of my home. I work at a call center and get off very late in the night. On my drive home, all I wanted to do was to get to my bed and sleep well into the afternoon. It was around 2 in the morning when I got home. Within seconds of laying down, I was sound asleep in my bedroom. I jolted awake from one of those dreams with a loud bang sound, my mind telling me that it had been no dream. I looked at the window, but it was still dark out, perhaps near dawn. However, before I could go back to sleep again, I noticed light peeking from under my bedroom door. I never slept with lights on in the house. I slowly sat up, but nervousness kept me from getting off the bed. I did have the sense to grab my phone off the side table, being as quiet as possible. While I was internally debating my sudden paranoia, my very breath halted, hearing soft thumps somewhere in the house. Footsteps. There was someone in my home. My heartbeat was almost on par with these footsteps as I dialed the police. I had the sense to lower the sound so the operator's voice wouldn't echo in the quiet house. Tick, tick, tick. This weird sound came from outside, the intruder coming upstairs. This ticking came in breaks, 6 ticks, then 6 softer ones, only to repeat again. With my dry as sand mouth, I managed to whisper to the operator. She was asking me for further details when I clearly heard this ticking and footsteps approaching my bedroom door. I dashed towards it and slammed against it just as the intruder also tried to rush in, now aware that I was awake. Hearing a man's grunt, I put all my weight against the door that seemed too flimsy just then. "There's an intruder in my home. Hurry." I yelled at the operator and then rattled off my address twice. The man managed to push open the door, a sliver and jammed in one gloved hand. He was holding a box cutter, pushing the blade out with those ticks. I screamed at the operator that he was armed as I tried to hurt his arm with the door. The man blindly slashed at me as I stayed as far from his reach as possible, banging against the door. "Leave it." Another female voice came from downstairs, an angry hiss. I was barely surviving against one, but now there were two. With an annoyed grunt, the man trying to stab me backed off, and I heard the duo's hasty escape. I slumped down by my closed door, too afraid to open it. My neighbor's CCTV caught the two intruders, but they were wearing dark clothes with full masks, so the cops had nothing to go on. In the end, the duo stole some valuables from me, but at least left me alive, albeit with lifelong paranoia. I now sleep with a sharp knife under my pillow in case they ever change their mind and come back. This happened to me 3 years ago when I was living alone for a few months. My roommates had moved out, and I was hoping to have some me time before looking for new roommates, hopefully people who went to the same university as me. It was a simple house with the kitchen and lounge connected and a long hallway that led to 3 bedrooms with their own bathrooms. The backyard also connected to the woods, just a lousy fence creating a boundary. I was at home that day, checking my emails, and mostly wasting time on Netflix. I had put my phone on silent since some weirdo woman kept calling me, offering to be my roommate. Every time I asked the woman how she got my number or even knew I needed roommates, she only ever said that she was in the same social circle as me. It was a stormy day, and I was systematically checking all the windows when I paused at the kitchen window overlooking the woods behind the house. "What the?" I mumbled and squinted at the boar, peeking out from some bushes. In all my years living there, I had never seen a wild boar in these woods, yet here was one. It had small tusks and was mostly in the shadows. The way it was so still and quiet made the scene eerie. There were no vegetables or anything in the backyard, so what was it staring at? I quickly locked the back door when I realized that the boar head was a little too high, debating with myself that I was spooking myself. I had never seen a real wild boar ever, so how would I know how big they were? Yet, there was something uncanny about it that I couldn't dismiss. Abrupt shuffling from the bushes made me flinch and look outside the window again. The boar was gone, the woods silent now. The storm picked up by night, loud thunder and flashes in abundance. Rain was angrily drumming upon the house and creating a big racket, so I decided to grab my headphones and watch something cozy on Netflix. Midway through an episode of Gilmore Girls, a crash loud enough to seep into my headphones came from the kitchen. I put the laptop away and quickly rummaged under my bed, where I kept a sturdy baseball bat. Just as I heard rushing footsteps coming towards my bedroom, I jumped in my closet. From the slits, I saw a lanky woman wearing that same boar mask I had spied in the woods earlier, a big butcher knife in her hand. As soon as she had her back towards the closet, I charged out and hit her hard, knocking her out. As I waited for the cops, I unmasked the woman. She really was from the university I attended, some woman from the admin I barely recognized. I soon sold that house and moved in an apartment complex with 24/7 security, a CCTV installed outside my main door. However, there was no way I'd be able to do that commute daily, so moving was a necessity. I searched for an apartment on Craigslist. So when I saw an ad on Craigslist for an available bedroom in an apartment in that specific area for a really low price, I jumped on it. I took a ride to the city the next day to see the apartment, and the landlord gave me a quick tour of the place. The landlord himself seemed a bit socially awkward, but that didn't really matter. The place did come with a catch. I'd have a roommate. The landlord said he's a very quiet to himself kind of person, which he said was good. My roommate's name was Bren. The landlord knocked on Bren's door, asking if he'd like to come out and say hello. Bren didn't even answer. The landlord suggested he might be taking a nap, so we moved on to talking in the living room, where I expressed interest in renting. I signed an application, and the next day the landlord called and offered me the room. So I moved in the next week. My dad helped me unload all my furniture into my little room. Something odd to note was that never once did this Bren character come out during all this commotion to at least say hi. He was definitely home. We heard him moving around in his room. I came to the early realization that he probably wasn't going to be friendly at all. When we finished unloading the van, my dad left, and I was alone, officially moved out. I sat on my bed and started watching Netflix on my laptop. Then, I heard the door to Bren's room open and close. This seemed like my chance to go out and say hi. It was his first time leaving his room. I got out of my bed, but before I could even get to my bedroom door, the front door to the apartment slammed shut. I stepped outside to the living room, and no one was there. I didn't know what the deal with this Bren guy was, but surely he had to know we'd have to meet eventually. I went back to my room, ate a bowl of ramen, and went to sleep. I woke up when I heard the front door to the apartment close again, then footsteps. The footsteps on the creaky wood floor made their way to the outside of my door, then stopped. I sat up and looked at the crack below the door. The outlines of feet could be seen through the light creeping in under the door. Why was he just standing out there like a creep? Of course, I didn't say anything. I just waited for him to walk away. I didn't have my door locked. I was low-key terrified of him entering my room. Thankfully, he walked away from my door and back to his room, and I heard him shut his door. I tried to go to sleep, but all night, all I heard were thumps coming from his room. I had no idea what he could possibly be doing. I was tempted to go knock on his door and tell him to keep it down, but I hadn't even met the guy yet, so I had to deal with it. Eventually, I fell asleep, and when I woke up in the morning, it seemed Bren was out already, maybe at work. I didn't know at the time. I spent most of that day shopping for groceries and basic apartment necessities. When I got back, I dropped all the bags on the couch in the living room to give myself a rest. I cooked dinner and watched some Netflix on the couch, all the while Bren never came home. I did a quick run to the nearby 7-Eleven to get toothpaste, and when I got back, I noticed Bren's door was cracked open, and the light was on. So I figured this was it, the moment for me to say hello. I went to his door, knocked slightly twice, and pushed the door open. What I found in there was shocking, or maybe I should say what I didn't find. Him there. The room was completely empty, not a single piece of furniture except for a single chair sitting in the corner of the room, the kind of chair you'd find in a high school classroom. My heart suddenly started racing, and I started to shake. I turned off the light in that room and shut the door. I went to my room, locked the door, and sat on my bed, suddenly getting a really bad headache. I took out my phone and thought of scrolling through the phone to pass the time. As I was sitting there, I heard someone moving inside my closet. I freaked out and didn't know what to do. I ran to the bathroom, locked myself in, and called the cops. I could hear someone moving outside in my room and someone whispering in a hushed tone. The police got to the apartment shortly and searched the whole apartment with me, but no one was found. They tried calling the landlord, but he didn't pick up the call as well, and the mystery of Bren remained a mystery. I had my dad come the next day to help me move all my stuff back home. I found another apartment the next week. It was a huge hassle going through the whole moving process again. I knew from the start the so-called landlord gave off bad vibes, but who would have ever imagined the events that took place? It was a new chapter of my life as I got admitted to college. I moved into a new house, but it wasn't that pleasant, and I got out of budget. The rent was eating me, and I didn't earn that much to cover it up, so I thought that I might need a roommate to share my rent. I asked some of my friends, but they already had a place to stay. So I went to Craigslist and posted an ad on it, looking for a roommate. I had never used Craigslist before, so I was kind of hesitant, but the need was real, so I thought of giving it a shot. For the first few days, I didn't get any reply on my ad, but as the days passed by, I got an email from an anonymous account that some lady was interested in being a roommate. I got curious and replied to her mail, and within moments, my phone rang at an eerie hour of 11 p.m. I thought of not picking up the call as it was late at night, but I ignored my intuitions and picked it up anyway. The girl introduced herself as Ellen with no last name. She sounded creepy and her voice was echoing in my phone, making it even scarier. The call had a lot of static disturbance. Despite all these red flags, I agreed to share the rent with her and told her all the details. I thought sharing the space with a girl might be a better option. She ended the call by saying, "Ok, I am on the way." That was strange, as I was expecting her arrival tomorrow. Suddenly, 5 minutes later, the bell rang. I thought it might be someone else, but as I went towards the door and saw through the peephole, I saw that a girl with a bag of clothes in her hand was standing at my door. She wasn't moving and just looking at the door, as if she knew I was looking at her through the peephole. I opened the door hesitantly and said hello. She said expressionlessly, "Hey, I am Ellen," and gave me the rent in advance, right away. I didn't know how to respond. She didn't have any furniture with her and insisted that she would adjust. Still, I furnished a spare single bed in her room, and she was very easy to live with. No shouting, no rush, and no worries. She woke up, we had a chat. She was shy and quiet. There was something about her that was disturbing me right from the beginning, but I ignored it. But then her behavior took a strange turn. She ate messily with her hands, her mouth used to get drenched with the food and dirt often. I started feeling uneasy around her, as if her presence gave an eerie energy. Time passed, and my discomfort grew to a level that couldn't be tolerated anymore. And one night, I woke up to loud thuds and strange noises coming from Ellen's room. I rushed to her door and knocked. The knock was responded to with screams of more than one person. I kicked the door open, and suddenly everything got quiet. There was no one in the room, but everything was messed up. Walls were covered with deep scratches and dried blood. Ellen was nowhere in the room, yet I heard screams coming from the room just moments ago. Confused and terrified, I searched the room thoroughly, but I had no explanation for what just happened. I called the police and told them everything that happened right from the start. They asked for Ellen's picture. I had only one random picture of her passing behind me while I was taking a selfie. They took it and started investigating. After a week of sleepless nights and troubled days, police responded with a call. They summoned me to the police station and revealed the shocking truth in front of me. The policeman told me Ellen, the girl in the picture, was not Ellen. She was Grace, a girl who lived in Connecticut. She went missing mysteriously about 3 years ago from her place. Her family said that her behavior had grown increasingly bizarre before her disappearance. She was reported by me after 3 years of her disappearance, and again there is no trace of her anywhere in the Long Island. I was living in chaos and couldn't digest all that in one sitting. I was about to faint when an officer gave me water and dropped me home. I left the house to erase this traumatic memory and decided to live in a hostel for some time. In 2011, I had to sell my old bike since I had recently gotten a new one. It wasn't a piece of junk, so I figured I could get a couple of $100 for it. I posted an ad for it and listed my phone number so that anyone interested could text or call me. The ad was up for a few days with no bites, and I was becoming impatient. Finally, after 3 days, I received a text from someone late in the day showing interest in buying the bike. He got right down to it, stating he wanted to come get the bike as soon as possible. I told him he could come right now and included my address. He said that he would be there within an hour. I was home alone at the time. I was sitting in my living room watching TV, and it was dark outside when I heard a car pull up in front of the house. I got near the window and peeked out to see who it was, and I saw 3 grown men getting out of the car. I didn't get the purpose of 3 men coming over to get a bike. One of them rang the bell. They had to have seen me standing by the window, so they knew I was there. I opened the door, and the man standing in front of the other 2 reached out and shook my hand. He told me that his name was Chris. He was a big dude. He also had a really thick beard and a deep voice. However, he didn't introduce his 2 friends, who were just standing behind him, looking at me with blank expressions. They weren't exactly tiny men either. As I was telling them about the bike, Chris cut me off and passed by me into the house, asking which way to the bike. His 2 friends followed him. The idea of making sure they didn't enter my house was clearly out the window. I didn't know what to do, so I rushed in front of Chris to stop him going further into the house and led him towards the stairs to the back door. Chris, along with his 1 friend, followed me to the backyard, where one of them told me that he needed to use the restroom and asked me where it was. I paused for the longest time. I was thinking, should I let this random dude use the restroom of the house or not? I looked at their faces, and they all were staring at me with angry and creepy expressions on their faces. So I submissively told him where the restroom was. That man disappeared into my house. I went to the shed to grab the bicycle. While going to fetch the bike from the shed, all I was thinking was, what the hell did I just get myself into? Somehow, I showed them the bike, which I don't think they were interested in. He started analyzing every little detail of the bike, like things no one should ever even think to analyze on a bike. For example, some of the spokes may have been slightly bent, or the reflector had scuff marks on it. They were just keeping me busy. I was so busy answering his questions and trying to defend the condition of the bike from his remarks that I didn't even think of the man who had supposedly been in my bathroom for almost 10 minutes. I told the 2 of them to keep checking out the bike, and I'd be right back to fetch something. I went inside to see that person and checked both bathrooms, the one on the first floor and the one upstairs. Both of them were empty. Though just then, I heard people walking around and talking in my living room downstairs. Then what sounded like Chris calling my name. I heard them coming up the stairs. Chris said while ambling slowly in the hallway that they just wanted to talk. My heart was racing. I actually thought that night was going to be the night of my death. I quietly shut the bathroom door and locked it, keeping the lights off. I dialed 911 on my phone and whispered as quietly as I could to the operator to send police right away, or I could be dead within 10 minutes. She wanted me to remain calm and to try my best to explain the situation quietly. After explaining, she told me it was good that I was in a locked room and to wait there until the cops showed up. Footsteps came up to the bathroom door and stopped. Then someone tried the door handle. When they realized it was locked, one of them said in a low voice, "He is in there." Now they knew my position. I told the operator they found me. She said to stay where I was. After a few seconds of silence on the other end, there was a frighteningly loud bang on the door, and then another and another. They were trying to kick the door down. I screamed at them that the cops were almost here, and then the kicking stopped. I heard them whispering outside the door, and then I heard them going down the stairs after a moment. I didn't leave the bathroom until the cops showed up. As I went out to see the house, I noticed that I was missing a lot of things, including my wallet, which was on the kitchen counter, a couple of watches, my iPad, and of course, the bike that was in the backyard. The cops told me to just be grateful that I wasn't killed, which I was, but how could I be happy really after this? The cop said, given that they were trying to break into the bathroom, they were most likely going to kill me, which scares the hell out of me to think about. That was the one and only time I ever used Craigslist. A group of children were alone in a house when they captured some chilling footage. Ains de la Cruz, who shared the video, explains that it was recorded by siblings while they were in their grandparents' house. They managed to film something incredibly eerie. Here's what they caught.
Estamos aquí en la casa de mi bisabuela. Se fue ¿Qué es eso? Se fue la luz. Esa es la casita. Porque. Y mi mamá. Espérense. Y mi mamá y mi abuela se fueron al Oxxo a comprar velas por eso. Por lo que pasó de que se fue la luz. Y pues. Estamos aquí. Esas son las. Mi abuelito. Espérense, no sean chillones. No va a pasar nada. Y esas son las cenizas de mi bisabuelo. Porque pues desgraciadamente él ya falleció. Y el baño está allá. El baño, mi hermano quiere hacer pipí, pero el baño está allá. Y mi abuela nos dijo que cuidáramos. Mi abuelo nos dijo que cuidáramos aquí su casa en lo que ellas iban. Pero espérense. Pero pues el problema es que aquí no sabemos. Y pues no tengan miedo. No pasa nada. Abuelito, ¿si estás aquí? Preséntate. Si estás aquí, preséntate ante nosotros. Somos tus nietos.
In the footage, set in what seems to be a shed, a sudden movement startles the children. A shadowy figure or creature emerges rapidly, causing fright. This event might have been quite traumatic for them. The shadowy form seen towards the end could be mistaken for an animal, such as a bird or a bat. But this doesn't explain the distinct shadowy figure spotted earlier in the video. It doesn't resemble any known animal, leading many to speculate about the presence of a malevolent entity. Such videos often lead to varied interpretations. Could this be a ghostly figure caught on camera, or is there another explanation? Unseen Presence. Luna Moon shared a video that has been troubling her. In the video, a father starts recording a playhouse tent he bought for his daughter. Initially, everything appears normal, but then he notices something inside the tent that alarms him, causing him to quickly leave the room and stop the recording. This is what was captured. Upon nearing the tent, the father sees what looks like someone hiding inside, but as he checks the entrance, the figure is nowhere to be found, prompting him to hastily exit and cease recording.
Le compré un castillo a mi hija y ya no sale de aquí para nada, weón. Es re lindo, tiene ventanita y todo, pille. ¿Qué es esa mierda? Uy, no.
This segment raises unanswered questions. The father thinks the playhouse tent, previously owned by a deceased child, may be inhabited by the child's spirit. Even the usually skeptical Luna finds this idea compelling, especially after the father captures a photo of what looks like a child peeking through a window on the 15th floor, where there's no balcony. These mysterious occurrences have sparked both curiosity and debate. What's your take on this enigmatic situation? Feel free to share your thoughts. The strange creature. How would you react to encountering something unusual on a remote dirt road? A TikTok user shares footage of a spine-chilling encounter with a mysterious creature. As the user gets closer, the video fails to provide a clearer view of the creature. Nonetheless, TikTok users are buzzing with theories about its identity. Some viewers speculate that it might be an injured animal. Intriguingly, one comment suggests the creature could be more dangerous than it appears, even hinting that a car might not provide adequate defense. Whispers from beyond. Dalen Spratt attends a unique family reunion at a haunted cemetery in Georgia, where the only attendees are spirits. He already feels uneasy before starting any communication with the spirits. What insights will the spirits offer him?
This might be our night. This might be our night. I know y'all heard that. This might be, I know y'all heard that. I know y'all heard that. This might be our night location spot, guys.
As Dalen nears a mausoleum, he feels his energy shift.
This is the mausoleum. My head is already starting to hurt. As soon as I came over here and looked inside of here, it's like my whole energy shifted.
His interaction with the spirits, facilitated by a device, becomes more fascinating.
Hey, is anyone out here with me? Is it? My name is Dalen. What is your name?
A moment of revelation occurs when Dalen asks for the spirit's surname and receives a response matching one of the nearby tomb names.
That's safe to give. Okay, so the Give family. It's like 10 of y'all buried over here.
Dalen continues to ask pivotal questions to the spirits.
How does it feel being buried with your family? Great. That's cool. Were y'all close during your living years?
It becomes clear that the family's past was not entirely harmonious. Dalen also checks if the spirits are aware of their environment.
I want to know, are you aware of what's going around? Can you tell me the color of the truck that just drove by? Y'all, I swear it was a red truck. It sounded like it said red.
The session concludes with an intriguing possibility. Dalen's experience reinforces the notion that communicating with the deceased might indeed be possible. It seems he is on the verge of unraveling mysteries that many of us are curious about. A spooky discovery. In an engaging video uploaded by Jose Maria, we see his excitement for hiking and caving adventures, this time joined by a friend. Captured on their way back from a caving expedition, the footage, interestingly, isn't from inside the cave, but rather from its vicinity. The area, known for its mysterious and eerie ambience, might have revealed through Jose Maria's helmet camera some of the paranormal activities long rumored to surround it. They come across a small statue clothed in black. It's an odd and unsettling sight. The statue's face is distorted, resembling something out of a nightmare. Confounded by this discovery, they speculate whether it might be one of the lost souls said to inhabit the area, further deepening the mystery of the place. A cave's secret. This video was filmed by a tourist during his exciting journey across Europe. The day after arriving, he prepared to explore an ancient cave in Hallstatt, Austria. He described this cave as being hundreds of millions of years old. Though stating it was located 10,000 feet above sea level, this seemed a bit exaggerated, considering Austria's landscape. The adventure began beautifully, with sights of ancient glaciers and rock formations. A few hours in, however, the tourist faced an unexpected sight. On the cave's ceiling, He spotted a pale figure, eerily climbing without any safety gear. The sight was so unusual that the man behind the camera wondered if he had stumbled upon something extraordinary. Could it be a ghost or a spirit? Something beyond the ordinary. What do you think about this mysterious sighting? The enigmatic figure. This video was shared by a user with the profile name Highway 9 after a hiking trip, during which the uploader stumbled upon an open cave that sparked his curiosity. Accompanied by his German Shepherd dog, he delved deep into the tunnel systems. However, it wasn't long before things started to take a strange turn.
Oh. Come on.
In the distance, a faceless figure could be seen observing the man. This tall figure was clad in a black robe, its lack of facial features striking. The consistent appearance of such entities across different regions is intriguing. Could this sighting indicate the mysterious phenomena purported to exist within these tunnels? Thanks for joining us on this eerie adventure. If you are intrigued or thrilled, show your support by liking and sharing this video. Don't miss out on more mysterious encounters. Make sure to subscribe for more ghostly explorations. Stay alert, and until our next paranormal journey, keep hunting for the truth. Tonight's scary video, brought to you by Devil Hour Productions, is not for the faint of heart. Imagine a place where the air is thick with the echoes of the past, and shadows seem to move on their own. This is where we're heading, to the eerie and ancient Arnold family farmhouse, built in 1736, now known as the Harrisville Farmhouse. It's a place that inspired the bone-chilling movie The Conjuring. But the real question that haunts us is, are the ghost stories and paranormal claims from the movie actually true? Well, our brave team of 4 young paranormal investigators are on a mission to find out. They're ready to face the unknown and uncover the secrets that lurk in the dark corners of the Harrisville Farmhouse. So grab some popcorn and your flashlight,